Hey everybody. So I'm at Sherman Hospital, and if you're referencing this video, it's probably because I'm sending you on your quest for better healing. Remember, whether you've been through a registered dietitian, a nutritionist, a coach, or just me, or just doing your own reading, the idea is that we're going to try to empower you. The team that I use is obviously to give you more information and hopefully start you on your journey. Now, even if the stuff didn't work before, we'll help you by trying to, I guess, reverse engineer the information that you have and make this a successful journey.
All right.
Nice to see you, Kate.
Nice to see
Thanks
you too.
a lot.
So my name is Kate. I'm a registered dietitian and a certified diabetes educator. I've been working in nutrition for about 15 years, mostly in the outpatient setting. So I do a lot of counseling with people, both looking at nutrition, but also some of the barriers that get in our way of success too.
What would they expect once they make the appointment with you, and what would they expect as far as follow-up?
So usually what we do is we start off with an initial assessment where we're looking at not only your medical history but also your nutrition history, what you've done in the past, what you're doing now, what's worked for you, what hasn't worked for you. And we're going to try to come up with a plan together that we think would help get you to the health goals that you have set for yourself. Usually by the time that you leave the first appointment, we'll have 1 to 3 specific measurable goals that you're going to be working on. And then when you come back, we take a look at how you're doing with those goals. If you've been doing good with those goals, that's great. We're going to keep going with those and we're going to build on them. If you've been having difficulties, we're going to look at what those difficulties have been, and we're going to try to help you find ways around those.
The other folks, so the other 50%, have probably been through a registered dietitian already, or a nutritionist of some sort. And we spoke earlier, sometimes when I introduce the concept of this coaching, this education, I get some eyes that roll up and shoulders that shrug and say, well, I've done that and it didn't work. And I guess just like coming to me, if you've been to other doctors and you're coming to me because it didn't work, that concept of reverse engineering is very, very important, because I know there's a lot of information out there as far as like the Whole30 or the Paleo, blood type diet, a couple different things, and I don't have a problem with any of those if they're empowering, but sustainability is different though. And I think this is what you mentioned as far as follow-up. If we have a wall that we hit, then we have to try to break the wall. How can we encourage them to get past that, or how can we encourage them to that there is another way?
We can work with that and see what works best for you, but we want to help you come up with strategies as you hit those walls, because everybody does hit those walls, and we got to find out if your way is going to help you get around that wall or not. If it's not, we can talk about other ways to do it, things that feel right to you and things that work with your lifestyle.
Okay, what kind of average patients do you see in the center?
A lot of the people that we see are people who have tried to lose weight in the past and have had some successes, but then usually fall off track and end up where they were at originally, or maybe even in a worse spot. So they get frustrated over time after having those successes, but then failures afterwards. So we try to help those people realize realistic goals for themselves, goals that are going to be motivational to them to keep them going long term, and we help them to find the solutions that will help them to be successful long term.
I will usually hold as a goal or a reward, I guess, the fact that if we're able to make a dent, whether it's weight or waistline or dress size or pant size, maybe the cutting back or the holiday off of the medicines. How do we work around the fact that patients have a lot of medicines that could be causing some side effects, could also be having some very good effects, like our diabetics, but how do you work around the fact that we have a ton of medicines that we have to work with as far as side effects, and then we have to also try to encourage proper eating?
You have to look to see if any of those medications are part of the barriers that are coming up. Maybe you're doing all the right stuff, but the weight's not coming off. Maybe there's a medication that might be relating to that. So we need to look at that in our whole nutrition assessment that we do at that first visit to see if that might be something that's getting in the way. And we can always discuss with your physician, with Dr. to see if there is another alternative that might work better for you so that you can meet your goals.
I have a lot of patients that self-empower on YouTube, just like we're doing now, but they come loaded with some great knowledge. What would you say would be a reason to invest time coming to learn versus taking the information on YouTube and or books?
I've seen people try a lot of things, and there are a lot of things out there to try. And like Dr. said, if there's something you find out there that's empowering to you, we're going to encourage you to do that. However, we like to help you kind of foresee some of the pros and cons of the route you're planning to take. So again, if there's potential barriers that we see might be feasible going forward, we want to help you to strategize to work around those.
That is a great point, because when I talk about trying to deconstruct a patient's a plan that has worked or not worked for them so far, sometimes some patients, or if you look on YouTube, they won't tell you about the end result, the possible road barriers, or those walls that you hit. And I think because we have a vast array of patients, the experience says that we can usually predict, not necessarily focus on, but predict what might be an obstacle and maybe steering clear of that. With regards to my coaches that I have in the field, I always get great feedback, and that's what I think the beauty is when you work with a team. You tell me what the patient has as far as positives, negatives, strengths, and weaknesses. You work with them. I watch the evolution of how the progress is. At the time of discharge, when the patient has shown enough information, knowledge base that they can survive on their own, what do you do with them at that point?
At that point, I'd still encourage that maybe we touch base every once in a while just to make sure things are still going okay, see if anything has come up in terms of new barriers or frustrations. Otherwise, I would encourage some type of support, whether it's through DrRic, whether it's through some type of support group, either online or in person. The more support that you have, ideally from different types of professions, the more successful you're going to be long term. You need to have that support, whether it's a spouse, whether it's a friend, whether it's a group of people, whether it's your healthcare team. You need to have that support going forward and long term to be successful.
So, good point, Kate. Just in case the insurance, though, doesn't cover, or if some people I see don't have insurance or are out of state, what do you suggest for them?
Yeah, so this is something that we do see sometimes. So going forward this year, we're going to have a new program that we're evolving where it's actually a weight loss program where there is like an out-of-pocket cost for an initial assessment as well as group sessions, so that we can work with you over a period of 3 months. In addition to that, we're also going to be providing some community classes about basic nutrition concepts, mindful eating, healthy grocery shopping, cooking demos, things like that, that you should see advertised, and we'll definitely let Dr. know that are either low cost or no cost.
And so for some of my patients that come at state, any suggestions?
Yeah, so www.eatright.org is the website for the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, and on that site there's actually a search for a registered dietitian, so depending on where you're at, it will find local registered dietitians for you if you want to find someone in your area. There's also a lot of great public health information on that website. Another good website too, I think, is choosemyplate.gov. There's a slew of healthy eating information on there, things that you can look at, interactive things, lots of great links to other sites, and even handouts, like top 10 handouts that you can print out for yourself to help you in making better choices.
Great. Thank you for all the information.
You're welcome.
So hopefully this has been helpful. Don't forget, thumbs up if you do like this video, and subscribe to me for weekly words of wisdom. Kate, thanks for the information. I think will empower our patients to make some great changes.
Great. Thank you.